So it's 3-0. Hey, I'd like that on. For me, please.
Volume?
Yeah, just a little bit. But not loud. Ooh, man, I forgot to do my airplane mode. I hope we don't get interrupted. I think we're live, kids. Time to get started. It's 8 o'clock. The Predators are struggling a little bit, unfortunately. But during the first intermission, we'll get to chat. You can chat with me. I think we got about 20 minutes to get this started. So everybody that's joining on here, hey, turn that down, Brittany Renee. Everybody that's Preds are on, Tommy. I know they are. I know they're on. I know they're not faring too well, and I don't think everybody's going to watch straight from the gut over the Predators. Hey, Brad Elam, thank you for getting on here. But
hey, your true fans will.
The true friends, Ryan Mudd, the Preds are down 3-0. I've got that on there. Everybody that's tuning in here, I would like you to know the purpose of the show is to get a better understanding of who I am. My name's Tommy Davidson. I have built a brand called Good Time Tommy, #GTT, and the purpose of the show is to, I'm sharing my story. I'm 44 years old, and if I could go back and tell myself at 30, these are things I would kind of tell myself. So if somehow you see this, I'm a real estate agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee that focuses on real estate and self-development. So you may see my stuff with real estate. You may also see stuff like this with personal development. I need you to go to my website, Good Time Tommy. Also, like my YouTube page at Good Time Tommy D. So if you would share my stream, I would greatly appreciate it. If you would like, I would...
Rubbing that hair, you're going to go bald.
I can't help it. It's such a bad habit. But I would appreciate if you'd share my stream, comment, like. You can throw jabs at my hair. I don't mind, Craig Powell. I don't mind at all. But if you'll share the stream, me and Kathleen will go in tomorrow and we'll pick one person that shared the stream and you will get a gift card to the Allion, Maine. What's happening? Leonard, are you still down in Destin? Your boy Michael Burt's on his way down there.
Charlie.
So if you don't know this, my roommate, she also is on here, Brittany Renee Brandon. She kind of helps me. She's the producer. She's like you, Ryan Mudd, for the radio station. She's my Ryan Mudd. So please please share that stream, and please comment. So it's gonna happen. Hey. You got to keep sharing. I'm sorry. So tonight I've broken down. I like to prepare. I've broken this down into 4 different parts of emotions. Baby, I need you to watch that. And if there's anything I need to, because I'm going to go through this. I'm going to try to get through this pretty quickly. So if there's any comments or questions, please let me know. And anytime you need to stop me and elaborate if I'm not clear, which I can easily. Not be clear on some things, please let me know. So I'm going to highlight 4 things, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you the 3 most important things that I feel like are the big takeaways for me. Everybody has their own feelings about something. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody learns their own way. But these are things that were very, very prominent in my life. Looking back at 44 years old, I can see where things were problems in my life, and maybe you can learn from what I'm going to tell you. So number 1, the problems I've had in the past with emotions, the top or this little subtitle is it kept me in the moment. And what I mean by that is, for example, if I was mad, my emotions would keep me in that bad place. Even if it was my fault or maybe it was not my fault, I would stay mad. I had a harder time overcoming getting past my anger. Are you trying to take a picture of me right now in studio? A video.
Don't pay attention.
Well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to pay attention. So if something were not to go my way and if I was upset by it, I was having a hard time having bounce back, meaning I couldn't get over something. I couldn't get to the next task because this last task was holding me hostage. I couldn't get past it. And it was really hurting productivity. Hey, Miss Leslie Denny, thank you for getting on here, friend. So it would keep me in a bad mental state. It would make me, my emotions would not allow me to get over things as quickly as I would like. This morning, I don't know if you saw I think we put this out on YouTube, but I woke up and it's just one of those days, things weren't going. It was a challenging morning, and I just told myself, you know what, I'm getting out of this. I'm getting out of this bad mood. I'll struggle throughout mind. Changing the way you feel, changing the way you think is an instant decision. You need to write that down right there, ma'am. The way your emotion, you can change your mind just like that. It's an instant decision. Anytime you want to change your mind, you can do that. Moving right along, my emotions would keep me in a one-sided, well, how do I say this? I would only think with one side. I only thought about how I felt about something. So if I was mad at you, Brittany, I couldn't even stop. I couldn't even drop my emotions long enough to see how you might feel the way you were feeling.
Right.
So, and that was such a, hey, Richard Neese, how you doing, buddy? Say what, baby?
You're wearing lenses.
I was wearing, I mean, there was no way to break through my little emotional shield I had. There was no coaching me. There was no talking to me. There was no penetrating this evil shield of emotions, of pure anger that made no sense. And I don't know if you've ever argued with somebody who's emotional. Logic never will fix that problem. Logic will never fix an emotional problem. Only time, their emotions subsiding, can they start to listen. If we got any questions, please fire them at me. This is going to be talked about later on. This is the biggest thing. It kept me from being productive. And what I mean by that is, I would say this, I just don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like doing that today. I don't feel like doing that right now. What that was doing, it was robbing my productivity because I didn't feel like doing it. I didn't feel like making that extra phone call. I didn't feel like calling and saying I'm sorry. I didn't feel. I was living in the moment of how I felt, and I couldn't see past that. Hey, the truth will set you free, Ryan Mudd. And one of the things I have learned...
You avoid all accountability when you're full of emotions like that.
Ooh, you do. My girlfriend said you avoid all accountability. Draining the battery. Hey, Chris. Hey, thank you for everybody getting on here. So think about that. I believe to be successful, everything starts with being proactive, just doing something. Today, somebody was in my office and they were talking about doing. Charlie, I think he was on here. He was talking about doing this or should I do that? And I'm like, man, just do anything. Just do any type of action. Take a step forward. If you will be productive, that may or may not work for you, but you'll figure things out. You'll figure out new ways.
You'll see things differently.
You will. That's exactly right.
You might have some aha moments just based upon what you
So the biggest thing for me has been taking action. Is whenever the solopreneur, somebody came on, Katrina came on, and then more people came on, and then the big thing for me was building a brand. And all these things could have failed. Everything that I've done could have failed, but it was not worth worrying about the risk of failure. The most important thing is trying something, doing something, and a lot of times I find it works out in your favor. Most of the time our emotions may tell us not to do something that our greatest fears never really come true.
You don't have to wait for all the lights to be green before you start your trip.
Boy, that is strong right there, Richard Neese. You are so, there's no such thing as perfect timing. There will never be a perfect time to do something. The perfect time to do something is when the thought pops up and it's a decision. As long as all this stuff lines up with your core beliefs. I'm not ever saying don't go do something that does not align with what you really believe. So, am I clear on that? So that right there was a huge for me. Is my emotions kind of led me to being paralyzed of not taking action. I was paralyzed by fear. I was paralyzed by the fear of failure and
a safe place.
That's
where
exactly
you
right.
Be vulnerable.
And I believe your emotions play a big part in several different areas of your life. So I'm going to move along. Number 2, I couldn't emotionally stop spending money. It affected my spending habits. Do you have a question over there?
Well, I thought you had already said something about number 3 earlier. And now you're jumping back to 2.
No, I've gone 1. Now I'm going to 2. So subgroups 1. I broke that down.
Subgroups. Okay, I gotcha.
The only 2 times that you change when you want or when you have to. Sometimes I guess you're right, Craig Powell. Sometimes you do have to change. So I'm going to move along now to financial emotions, because spending money is an emotional habit, I believe. I believe the lack of discipline a lot of times is your emotions want things. So for me, there was no such thing as delayed gratification. If I wanted something, I went out and I got it. Instant gratification or delayed gratification. And what that did is that led to a lot of debt. That led to me financing things that I should have never financed. How many of you want something and you put it on your credit card? How many of you want something, you go to a store and you finance it? Well, these are problems it's a deeper issue. You've got to learn how to control that. And if you will give yourself a little bit of time to decide, do you really want this? Do you really, really want this? A lot of times these are just your emotions saying, I want this. I want this. It's never enough, by the way.
Right. Well, the materialistic things aren't what's going to make you successful or happy.
The best things are worth waiting for, says Miss Leslie Denny. Good. I agree with that. The best things are worth waiting for, but I also believe you can wait too long on things. I think. What do you think? Maybe. But I mean, I do think if it's something that you really, really want, and if you've got a plan in place, I do believe you've got to have a goal that you're going towards. If that's what you really want. I spent too much money on too many fun times. If I could only go back to Tootsie's Orchid Lounge and get back those bar tabs, I don't know how much money I would have. I don't know how many times I've made those mistakes. Oh, like that cup, sir. Hey, you like this cup? I think you gave me this here cup, cousin. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. So, I spent way too much money on too many temporary fun things, and a lot of times it was things that I didn't need. I didn't need to spend the money on. Maybe I needed to spend money on the IRS debt instead of going out and buying clothes or doing things like this. And again, this is me talking to myself at 30 years old. And I'm not saying that was an excuse, but looking back, if I would have had my mind, because nobody would have convinced me otherwise of what I was doing. The teacher will not appear until the student is ready. So no matter what, there's people in my life telling me, stop doing this. What you're doing, you're really putting yourself into a bind. And that's what I was doing, because I paid the price at 35, 36 years old when I had to make drastic changes. So Spike McDaniel, I need to come see you. My back's all banged up. Well, you don't do that anymore, but maybe you can help me out. I was not planning ahead effectively. I broke too many of my own promises. So hey, what'd you do that? Look, Craig Powell saying I need kids. I need kids. Hey, I'm going to start sweating over here, Craig. You remember back when you were looking at houses and we'd get serious about a house, Craig? You'd start sweating. You'd get all nervous. That's how you're going to make me right now.
Feeling the heat.
But my emotions would not allow me to plan ahead enough with my finances. Whenever I got that money was mine, and that money was going somewhere. And it was going, the money was going somewhere that was for instant gratification, somewhere where I could spend the money that would make me feel better in that particular moment. It's very hard to fight off what your emotions want. For me, as when I was younger, I wasn't mature enough to look past what my emotions were telling me. So, where was I over here? Do we have any questions? And hey, we're about to get real About to get real serious over here. Number 3. This is still something I fight right now. Number 3. Emotions do lead to excessive eating. I do.
Emotional eater.
Emotional eater.
Stress eating.
Stress eating. It's hard, if health is very important to me for too long. I think about what your willpower is. Like I was going to go eat something really bad today at lunch. And Brittany, oh yeah, I was going to. And hey,
you're just joking.
No, I was ready to go eat something. My emotions were telling me, your emotions always lie to you. Hey, the owner of the alley, they're usually on here, Kristen. Thank you for introducing me to Matt, by the way. That's the first time anything like that has happened to me, Kristen, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate your help with that. That is very meaningful to me, especially if you know what's important to me. And Ryan Mudd today was asking me like my words of affirmation. I'm really big into words of affirmation.
Yes.
What else?
You like affection.
Affection. So yeah, we were talking about that. Well,
you're not big on gifts.
Not
you
big.
Like more words of affirmation and affection.
Mm-hmm. You're right, but today I was ready to give in, and I felt like my emotions were telling me, "Man, you need to go get something."
Pizza.
Well, I was wanting a cheeseburger. I was wanting to go to Five Guys today, and this was emotional. This was emotional for me. I wanted to go, and my emotions were trying to justify. Tell me why. I did my blood work today. I've got 1 week where it doesn't matter what I eat. This is my week. Your emotions will find ways to make excuses. Aaron Dabney, what about that fresh haircut I got, buddy? Woods Viking, my guy. They're building a brand. You need to be doing stuff like this once a week. The Preds are making you emotional. So many things. Me being a diehard Notre Dame fan for so long of my life, my weekends would be, Ryan Mudd, we can talk about this, my weekends would be, it was based solely on the outcome of the Notre Dame game. My life would either be here or here on the weekends in the fall because of a Notre Dame win or a Notre Dame loss. So for me, I didn't always think I was going to be a fat guy, but it just kind of, my girlfriend's love language is definitely physical touch and words of affirmation. We're very similar in what we like. But eating would ease pain for me at times. It would make me feel better. What are you laughing at? Catch me. and like, I would get excited to go to lunch and get a buffet. Serve pizza. I'm serious. So nobody dies healthy. Ain't that the truth? But you know what? You've got to fight off these emotions that tell you, I want this ice cream.
Yeah.
Because you're going to pay the price for unhealthy eating sooner or later. And for me, eating healthy has been a great challenge for me.
Plus, it's Pride Week.
It is Pride Week.
You can't cheat on
but
Pride.
Here's what I noticed. One time, a lot of us are emotional eaters.
Either you don't eat at all or you eat too much.
That's right.
It can go either way.
Well, I lost about 40 pounds a few years ago. And
2013.
In 2012 to 2013. But I got in the habit of eating clean foods, and I felt so much better. But the emotion, I mean, it's still very hard for me. Very challenging.
And you eat healthy at night for the most part, but when you're out on your own, I mean, you just...
Well, what is it about that food that I crave? It's something, I mean, it's only 10 to 15 minutes. I eat fast. It's 10 to 15 minutes of... It still goes back to me not being able to delay gratification. I should be able to do this on a Saturday once a week. It's still hard for me. Go to move along now to number 4. I don't know. We've been doing this 20 minutes. People are going to probably get back to that Preds game. And this is going to be the juicy stuff. Relationships. This was my biggest struggle. The relationships were the biggest struggle that I had because of being an only child, I grew up, I always got my way. And if I didn't get my way, I really experienced having a lot of anger. And it was very hard for me to see past that because I could only see what I thought. I could only see what I wanted. I could only see my own self. Like we hear, you can't see the picture when you're stuck inside the frame. So my feelings used to get hurt very easily, which led to temper tantrums. And I would I would react in a volatile way that led to a lot of apologies, constantly saying, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. A lot of times it's not about the initial problem. Most of the time when it gets out of hand, it's how you react to the initial problem. The initial problem is one thing, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it's just like, damn, where did this problem even come from? Do you agree? Mm-hmm. You're not very talkative tonight.
I'm listening.
Well, say something.
I'd like you to tell your point and then I'll add on.
Okay, so my feelings would get very hurt very easily, but as I've gotten older and more mature, I don't get hurt as easily by other people's point of view or what other people think because it's the way they think. I shouldn't take it personally.
Right.
But it was very hard for me for so many years to understand that and to accept that and for my emotions to not control me. So if I could go back.
I have a quote.
Go ahead.
That goes off of that.
All right.
Other people's opinions is a prison that your joy will rot away in.
I agree. The way I say that is I'm no longer focused on the good opinion of others.
Right.
I don't need the good opinion of others.
That was pretty strong though.
That is good. Did you say that in there? Can people hear you?
I can. You want me to share it?
You do have to brush it off your shoulder. Because usually people think and feel the way they don't mean it personally. It's just their opinion. I couldn't acknowledge anything other than my own feelings because I was so mad. I wasn't even open to hearing someone else's side of the story. I could only feel the way I felt, which does not mean it's true. It's just the way I felt. Mm-hmm. I was more interested in me being right than the truth. I wanted somebody to. I wanted people to agree with me. That was very important. It was more important for them to agree with me than to seek the truth. Today, I'm all about the truth. Give me the truth, and then I'll sort out my emotions. Just give me the truth. I want to know the truth.
The more vulnerable that you are, the less of a victim you will be.
Ooh.
You like that?
You're big. Hey, you're my motivational spiritual person tonight, aren't you?
I'm going to put that on there too.
Hey, everybody that has shared my stream. I greatly appreciate all the comments. I appreciate that. Please remember, if you share this, there's a good chance you will be chosen to have dinner at the Alley on Main. So please share. So now here is the most important thing that I'm going to tell you. For me, and I think this is very true for a lot of people. And this is how I lived my life for so long. I don't live like this anymore. But I was always looking for the pain relief button. Do you know what that means? If I was in pain, I was trying to medicate the pain and get the pain away as quickly as I could.
Mm-hmm. How did you do that?
I don't know. Just different scenarios.
Do you have any addictions I don't know about?
I didn't have addiction. It was not about that type of. I just didn't want to feel bad. I didn't want to hurt. If it was just, it's like Joey Richardson said this one time. You know, sometimes we don't want to confront a problem. We don't want to confront anything that may make it painful on us. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't anything like that, Craig Powell. It was, I just wouldn't confront pain. I think a lot of people have this problem. If it's a tough situation, they want to get out of that situation as quickly as possible, or they want to avoid the situation.
Run away.
And I believe it's good to go through pain. I think that's how you learn. I think I'm so Emotional eating is a medication pain. Yeah, I agree with that.
So is drinking.
So is drinking. There's a lot of things but I just wouldn't challenge the pain I was feeling. I wanted to opt out of the pain. I wanted to fix the problem. Like if me and you were in a fight, and maybe it was my fault or maybe it's your fault, I would do whatever I could to go ahead and ease the pain. But sometimes pain has to come into your life and force you to work it out the right way. I was looking for the fastest way to eliminate the pain. Ryan, I learned the most about myself going through the greatest amount of pain in my life. That was when I learned the most about me. And what I try to tell Brittany, what I want her to tell Nicholas is, hey, whenever we got tough times, we don't have to go fix the pain. We don't have to fix it. Sometimes we just got to deal with it. And if you can deal with tough times, life is so much easier. If you can deal with pain, if you can deal with tough challenges, life gets easier because life is going to keep happening. I do believe whatever you want to call it, if you want to call it, some people may not refer to it as God, but I do. But some people may say the universe. Some people may call it whatever, but I believe when I was 35 years old, I do believe God was sending me these tests. And how I reacted to these tests, he would send another test. So if I didn't pass these tests, they did keep coming. And I do think they will keep coming until you can get through them. Well, I'm very thankful that I went through what I went through. But during that time, Ryan, it was so hard for me. It was very hard. So what do you have over there, Brittany Renee? But I'm going to say this. This is the most profound thing I'm going to say is do not look for pain relief button. Fight through it. Get through it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that scare you when I'm saying that, Brittany Renee? No. Are you sure? Do you know? Is it clear what I'm saying?
Yes. Fight your emotions.
Fight whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Fight through. 2009-10 was financial problems. I mean, sometimes there's just no way to fix things unless you fix them the right way. Rainy days make sunnier days much better. That's exactly right. Me and Scott Abernathy had so many lunches where we were both in so much pain. I mean, it got to be where it was comical. We would talk about our problems, but it's probably made us different people, hadn't it, Scott? What we went through. And I feel like I can probably get through a lot more pain because of what I went through. So to go back through the three big takeaways tonight for this is one of the biggest things, the three biggest things that held me back was I didn't feel like doing that right now. That robbed me from so much production. That held me back so long because my temporary feelings would tell me not to work as hard, to go do something else because I didn't feel like doing it right then. Number two, I was not planning ahead effectively. I broke too many of my own promises. What you got over there?
I'm listening, baby.
I like it when you talk.
Well, you're going over your last key points.
Okay, and
subject here.
And number three, I'm going back because this is the most important thing I want to talk or say tonight is I would look for the temporary pain relief button. I guess some people could talk about the way the government bailed out banks. That was like a temporary pain relief. Some people would say that was a mistake. Some people are going to say they didn't have a choice, and maybe we won't know for 10 or 15 years. Maybe we'll know next year. Maybe we'll never know, but the government can sometimes ease the pain, and some people feel like they shouldn't be doing that. Hey, thank you, Ryan Mudd. Brittany Renee, hey, thank you for everybody that has shared this. Are the Preds back on?
Okay.
4-0.
If you do what's hard, things get easier. If you do what's easy, things get harder.
Woo, who said that?
I just did.
God, you got all kind of stuff. Kim ever notice? What did Kim Walters say?
She says, ever notice how it usually takes something tragic to make a person reach their turning point in life? For me, it was the loss of my dad in 2009. My whole viewpoint on life changed. The way I see myself and others.
Scott Abernathy asked, what was my pain relief? My pain relief was really, I turned it over to God and I stopped caring about, I just said, I'm not controlling this anymore. If the real estate market never comes back, I stopped hiding that I felt like I was going broke.
And to touch back on what we talked about earlier, and your mind may not go there, but a pain relief for me is finally letting go of other people's opinions and what they think of me.
That was
sometimes,
yeah.
I mean, it just consumes you and you get so just bogged down by what you think other people are thinking, and it holds you back.
That's exactly, I wish I would have said it like that, because what Scott was asking me, really, that was the perfect answer, what you just said, because so much of my pain was worried about what people were thinking about me, what people were saying about me. Saying, hey, I had 2 houses in the newspaper that were going to be foreclosed on. And I was embarrassed by it. And really, people might have seen it and they may have made a comment, but they didn't think about it. I would be at home so ashamed, so embarrassed. And really, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. They didn't care. Other people were going through the same things back then. But Scott, that's how I got through it, is I really stopped worrying what other people thought. And everything worked out. At that particular moment when I really made that decision, hey, I'm not going to care anymore, that's when everything kind of turned around for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that, confidence, and that goes hand in hand.
You know what? Confidence really does come from that. If you will show all your flaws, if you no longer try to hide anything or your secrets, you will become so much more confident. It's so empowering to not try to hide anything. You need to get Brittany to stream her own show. She's on it tonight.
I have my own show.
Brittany does do her show. It's called 5 and 5. And Brittany Renee she's young. She's only 31 years old. And I wish that I had what she had at that age. I probably had other things. I mean, I was cooler than she is right now. But Brittany is Brittany is a very mature girl that she's a lot wiser than I was at 31. I'll say that.
Oh, there goes those words of affirmation.
I
appreciate it.
Well,
I appreciate it.
And the thing about Brittany is, I think she's got an innate ability to pick up on these things on her own, because I don't know how much she was studying. Once she's gotten around me, I do think she's trying to create more mind expansion. And if you watch Brittany's 5 and 5, she is very, very good at presenting herself. She can speak very well. She can communicate very well. What else would you like to put out there, Brittany Renee? We've been going 33 minutes. I think the Preds are getting destroyed, but hopefully when they get back home Sunday night. You should do that. People should know more about you. This is really what, so if you're trying to build a bigger audience, this is what social media is for. It's not to get on there and sell your product. Mm-hmm. It's for more people to know who you really are.
Right.
Scott, I was going to ask you tomorrow, first off, if you want to go to lunch. I don't know if you're in town, but I think...
Let's go ahead and announce that it's limited on where you can go.
It is limited. Well, Scott's eating healthy right now.
Private eye right now.
He's doing his Tough Mudder. But one of the things I'm ready to start now, I'm getting some clarity on this, and I haven't told anybody this. I haven't even told Brittany Renee this. Transparency through an open book. Proud of you, buddy. Thank you, Jeremy. For me, being transparent is very easy, but what I have found is people are so much more attracted to somebody that is transparent. If you're honest and open. But one of the things I'm ready to start, Abernathy, I need your help. Is I'm ready to start You ready for this?
Yeah, tell me.
I'm ready to start the GTT network, where I want all the people that work in the same vertical Abernathy, kind of like you did Michael Burt's that show, your landlord, whatever kingpin landlord. I want to put together a group where people like Abernathy, Belinda, Roy Frazier, they write content that goes on my network. So that's what I want to start doing, is my own little network.
Where's the hub going to be?
Good Time Tommy Network. Yeah.
So is it going to be blog style?
That or videos. So Scotty, I need you to start writing blogs about once a week, and it's going to go onto my site, but you can link it back to you, but it's coming onto the Good Time Tommy Network. You can do videos, whatever you.
I like that. That's cool.
Do you like that?
I do.
So I need more people that are somehow in real estate. Maybe I need to get a moving company or somebody to do that.
Or you could just start your own moving company.
Hey, can you move? Hey, you'll move.
You see me
Hey, do we have any questions about this? And everybody that's talking about the authenticity, the transparency, all that. I mean, I can't agree with you more on that, because for me, when things turned around is whenever I just own the truth. You know what your truth is. And the more you try to cover up what your truth is, the more pain and suffer you live with. That's deep. Yeah. Woo, that's deep.
Well, and the more...
Write that down.
Here's the thing is, if you're trying to be somebody you're not all the time, that becomes exhausting. I mean, you are going to crash and burn if you are not truly yourself.
That's right. But you know the truth.
Yeah.
You know your own truth.
It'll eat you alive.
And the more you try to mask, the more you try to lie about your own truth, the more unhappy you are.
Yep.
I like that.
Deep.
That is deep.
Ooh.
I'm going to write that on my little note right here. I don't even have anybody commenting on that.
I mean, they're just speechless right now.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
They are speechless. Well, guys, we've been going about 36 minutes. I'm going to open this up for a few minutes. If anybody has any questions, comments that they would like,
share.
Be sure to share. I don't think we've had very many shares. I only share one time.
We're 8 shares.
I don't.
It might be more.
I think a lot of people are probably watching this hockey game, but maybe they don't like talking about the emotions.
Tell it like it is.
That's right. Some people can live. I mean, I think you can try to live a lie. I think a lot of people live a lie. I just think they live very unhappily.
It'll make you sick.
I think it does make you sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it makes you miserable. I think it really does. Hockey slaughter. It is. Yeah. Well, every Thursday we do Straight from the Gut. Where if you weren't here on the beginning, I'm 44 years old. If I could talk back to myself at 30, these are the things I would be telling myself. And people were trying to tell me this. So I had so many great mentors in my life, people that were trying to tell me this. I just wasn't ready. I did not have the mental capacity at the time, mental/emotional capacity at the time to implement these strategies, what they were telling me. But if I could go back and tell myself, this is what I would say. And I'm doing this in a very open way because I made so many mistakes. I started correcting my life at 35, 36 years old. And the biggest regret I have to this day is I feel like I waited too long to activate my potential. I feel like I waited too long to start trying to figure myself out. So everybody that gets on here, I really do appreciate you coming on and listening. And I've got a goal. I want 130,000 people in Murfreesboro to know who I am, know everything about me. I don't want to cover anything up. I just want you to know me. I want to grow the brand Good Time Tommy to where it's what everybody thinks of. Maybe one day the brand grows somewhere else into another. Hey, one of my favorite cousins is on here. I think she's in Baltimore. Hey, Autumn. Thank you for getting on here. Well, guys, we're about to shut it down. We've been going right at 40 minutes. I love doing this. If you've got any questions, and if there's anything you don't disagree with, or if there's anything you disagree with, I want to know about it. I'm open for for discussion here, because I don't think I'm always right. I'm not looking for me to be right anymore. I'm looking for what's right. I'm looking for the truth. I'm no longer concerned about if I'm always right, because I believe if you fight to be right, you've got other people fighting against you. I think you will never be happy if you'd rather be right than happy. Mm-hmm. You're my favorite cousin, Tammy. Whoever's talking to me is my favorite cousin. I got your text. Love shares.
Love shares yourself with everyone you connect with. Love is true. You do your
my mama,
best because
she's
you
a
care
philosopher.
and want the best for all around you. Work to help them because you want them to succeed. Yes.
Thank you, Mama. Hey, I love you, Mama. I think Nicholas saying good night.
I'll be up in a minute, baby.
Scott Abernathy, I can't believe you've stayed on here. I know this show bores you to death. But since you're on here, if you or anyone you know is looking for a property manager and you're tired of doing it yourself, or maybe you don't want to do it yourself, you need to call my guy, Scott Abernathy. You see him posting in here. He is. Or if you want to talk about real estate investing, you need to talk to my guy, Scott Abernathy, because I do believe he is one of the best minds in real estate investing in this town. Hey, happy anniversary again, Katrina. 4 years. 4 years is when it all started. Guy, whenever you're trying to get better, whenever you're focused on self-improvement, it seems like it takes so long. It seems like it takes so long to get better. But, you know, I started this really 4 years ago, and I feel like I've come a long way looking back over the last 4 years. But during those 4 years, it seems like it took forever, because I feel like I've watched 1,000 hours on YouTube. I've read several books on getting better. Hey, anything for you, Scotty. But you can't forget this. I'll take care of. Brittany's on me about going to a chiropractor. I do agree with that. In a relationship, I do believe I've got to be the best me I can be for Brittany Renee.
And I've got to be the best me I can be for you.
That should be our partnership agreement.
Yes.
That should be. So, everybody, please tune in every Thursday night. I do this at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, and I like to talk about things that make us better, which grow our mind, our mental capacity, and to think bigger. And I wish that I would have done this at an earlier age. I'm 44 years old. Looking back, I waited a little later in life to activate my potential. So everybody, thank you so much. Please share the stream. If you share the stream, there is a good chance you could win the gift card to the Alley on Main. I'll be the
best for both of you.
Scott, how's that Tough Mudder coming along, fella? Hey, what are some, while we got you on here, what would be some topics you guys would like to talk about in the future? Because I like to talk about things I've had personal experience with, that I have struggled with, my emotions, keeping them in check. It's been such a huge weakness for me. Huge weakness for me. I've gotten better. That's why I don't get on you so much, because you're so young.
Oh, thanks. Just a young grasshopper.
Well, 31 years old, my emotions...
I'm going to be 32 in less than a month.
At 31 years old, my emotions were all over the place. I couldn't... It was hard. I would get my feelings hurt so easy. I was defensive. So sensitive. Makes me sick to think
of... We had an in-depth conversation about discovering your true why. I mean, I know we've talked on it, but have we ever
can talk about that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that goes into it.
I'm 44 years old. Hey, I'm just now 44 years old. But I didn't discover my true why until recent. A lot of people probably don't know their true why.
Yeah,
I hear people say, I want to help people. I mean, that ain't... I think it somehow has to tie back. For me, I always liked still a baby. I'm still a baby. Since I was a kid, I was an only child. Thank you, Mama.
It's such a great investment to have a life coach at a young age. I invested in one at 23, and by far one of the best things I've done. Hey,
Well, maybe.
Scott agrees. I think
Well,
we should
maybe
do that.
discovering your why could be what we talk about. For me, I love being the center of attention. And I don't mind admitting that. That's the truth. I love being the center of attention. I love making other people feel good. I love being acknowledged. Like Ryan Mudd, we're talking. My love language is words of affirmation. I love to be acknowledged.
Can we talk about how good those steaks were?
We can't keep talking about that. So for me, just selling real estate didn't activate my true purpose, my true why. That was something I was probably doing for financial. But what I get the most passionate about is building the brand Good Time Tommy. And that is it's directly linked to selling real estate. But my why is inspiring other people that give me credit for it, I guess. And then I got the t-shirt. I did not do. My mama said, oh, we're moving quick on here. So, hey, I've been going about 45 minutes. My throat starts to go away even though I'm drinking some iced down water over here. So, everybody, every Thursday night, I need you back on here. Maybe next week we will talk about discovering your why. And if you got any other questions or comments, please leave them in there. Please share the stream. I need you to share the stream. Chris Scared, how you doing, my man? My favorite powerlifting realtor. Thank you for getting on here. You're a little late because I'm about to shut this down. But next Thursday night, we'll be back 8 o'clock. Maybe we're going to talk about discovering your why. Maybe that'd be a good topic. But again, what I want to do is I want to talk about me at my age and what I wish I was telling myself at 44 years or telling myself at 30 years old. So everybody, I'm about to shut this down. It's about time for me to go to bed. But I really do appreciate you watching. I appreciate you commenting. And I really appreciate it if you share the stream. So everybody, have a great night. See you soon.